We haven't seen First Lady Melania Trump since earlier this month, but we will see her at the State of the Union on Tuesday. The Palm Beach Post reported the First Lady went to Mar-a-Lago last week just for one day. This visit came after reports that President Trump's attorney paid hush money to a porn star Donald Trump allegedly had an affair with shortly after his marriage to Melania. Sarah Ellison from the Washington Post joins me now. She profiled the First Lady for Vanity Fair. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So let me ask you, First Lady Melania Trump did not go with President Trump to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, like she was originally scheduled to do. Her office said that there were, quote, too many scheduling and logistical issues. How much of a surprise was that?
I think people were surprised by that simply because she had scheduled to go, and it didn't seem like that there was anything. Of course, we weren't aware of anything. We, as the public, weren't aware of anything that had changed. So people were just surprised by that. And I think that people who are kind of experts on First Ladies say that their schedules are sort of laid out far in advance.
Mrs. Trump's spokeswoman, Stephanie Grisham, took to Twitter Friday, blasting what she called, quote, salacious and flat-out false reporting about the First Lady that has emerged recently. And Grisham added that Mrs. Trump is focused on her family and role as First Lady, quote, not the unrealistic scenarios being peddled daily by the fake news. Is that kind of response typical of a First Lady's office?
I mean, I think not. You know, I don't think we've seen those kinds of really strong statements most of the time from First Ladies' offices, using the term fake news and going after mainstream press. I mean, the Wall Street Journal was the paper that broke the story about Stormy Daniels. That's hardly an outlet that has been unfair to President Trump or his family. And so I think that those kinds of attacks really make you feel like that Melania Trump's office is sort of operating out of the same kind of mold as her husband's press operation.
Let's talk about your piece. In your profile of Mrs. Trump, you write that one of the president's longtime friends said this of Melania, quote, she didn't want this come hell or high water. Now that we are 1 year into the Trump presidency, does it seem like the First Lady has settled into this role of First Lady?
Well, she certainly has been doing it now for about a year, and she has defined it in her own way. There was a piece recently in the New York Times saying that she might be the First Lady that upends expectations more than we really thought that she would. There was some pushback against that idea because what it seems, you know, it's late night fodder, their relationship and how unhappy she is. You know, there were people who were on the record in my piece talking about how she certainly didn't expect this. It wasn't something that they were, you know, groomed for. And I think that she's certainly somebody who's relatively private, and that leads to lots and lots of sort of mystery around what she's really thinking and what she likes about her job. It's an odd role in the 21st century to have someone who's supposed to be adoring of her husband but not have a career really of her own and is throwing herself behind this life that has sort of been thrown at her. So I think that she's settling into it in her own way, but there are still so many questions about what she's really doing and how much fun she's really having.
Given what you just spelled out, this notion of a desire for privacy, how does Mrs. Trump's East Wing compare to those of former First Ladies?
Well, East Wings are always typically pretty airtight. They're less gossipy and more opaque than West Wings. You know, when Hillary Clinton was a First Lady, Hillaryland was the name and the nickname that they gave her East Wing. Melania Trump's East Wing is smaller, staffed, you know, more sparely than other First Ladies in the past. Her office says that that's because she's more efficient and deliberate about her choices. There seems to be less public activity than we saw with Michelle Obama or Laura Bush. I think that that's also a difference in what we're seeing. She has a child, obviously, so did Michelle Obama, who's in school, and she focuses a lot on Barron, her son, which people are very respectful of. But she certainly seems, you know, she does have a travel schedule with her husband, but she certainly seems to be doing less public events than other First Ladies have done.
So what would you expect that we'll see from Mrs. Trump on State of the Union Day on Tuesday?
I mean, I think that it'll be the first time that she sort of has been public in a while. I mean, she did go to the Holocaust Museum the other day, but then went to Mar-a-Lago. I think that we'll see some sign of unity with her husband, and she'll be, you know, everyone will pick apart what she's wearing and all those kinds of things. But I think that her role is typically pretty limited in these sorts of settings. She might have someone sitting next to her that will be some kind of a statement, but I don't know what that's going to be. She obviously has embarked on an anti-bullying campaign that has been pretty quiet. So this would be an opportunity for her to sort of stake out a position or a more forceful position on that.
Right. Sarah Ellison, thanks very much for stopping by. Appreciate it.
Thank you.